Shouldn't be a surprise, but our pedophile president had the nerve to say that Bad Bunny's dancing was inappropriate for children. Now, the halftime show was no Kendrick Lamar, but it was still great. And what I liked best about it was the message of unity. Now, these two halftime shows, the real one and this Kid Rock mess, really demonstrate what America has been and what America can be. I say that because all of this is about culture. In this conquering empire of ours, culture has been something that's been imposed and manufactured. Everything from clothing to the type of music you listen to. If culture starts to change, as it has throughout history, there are forces to mold it back into place. Like, as an example, look at all the country music fans today. And to be fair, I do like some country. But half the people that now attend country music shows regularly wouldn't have been caught dead there 30 years ago. They just lost their grip on what was the popular music of the time, and so they moved on. And then when they moved, they changed country music with them. There's this scramble to hold on to something that was never really there. And when it comes to entertainment, they're really losing their grip, and that's why they have to turn to Kid Rock or set up separate media and entertainment infrastructure. Bad Bunny, on the other hand, presented something much different. A culture that was largely born out of oppression, but one that is open for everybody to enjoy. Hence the Lady Gaga performance. An opportunity to join in love and respect. Now back to MAGA. The manufactured culture that most white people have adopted in this country is the culture of the South. I can promise you my European ancestors that moved here weren't listening to country. But most white people don't really have a culture unless they're tied to their European roots, like myself with my Italian heritage. And that is actually the problem. Culture is important for people, but not cultural hardening, let alone the hardening of a manufactured culture, either by restricting who can come in, like with language, or stealing other cultures' stuff and integrating it. Now, this is very cliche, but the United States of America is unlike any other place. Our culture has never been uniform because of our diversity. We're a messy combination of cultures from both the colonized and the colonizers. For most white Americans, they absolutely hate this. They want something more they can hold on to because, well, life is scary. And if they don't have something, it makes them feel out of control. And so they try to harden the culture, doing things like creating separate halftime shows. But the truth is, we do all have a culture. In fact, each individual in this country has their own culture. And so if the United States of America does have a culture, that's what it is. Unfortunately, white supremacy has caused every culture in this country to harden and gatekeep, but it doesn't have to be that way. In fact, a huge part of American culture is talking to other people about your different backgrounds and incorporating different things when we gather. For instance, I have a German side and an Italian side. They're very, very different, but they get along because they embraced and enjoyed each other's culture. For me, in addition to those, I have a California culture, specifically Southern California. I grew up around Black culture and Mexican culture, so some of that imprinted on me. Not stealing, but admiration and respect. And as I'm sure many of you have experienced, talking about these things can be really enjoyable and unifying. No assimilation, just appreciation. Sadly, like I mentioned before, we haven't given Black and Latino Americans a chance to be generous with their culture, and yet somehow they are anyway. And that's what Bad Bunny gave us tonight. He gave us a look at Puerto Rican culture, but then unified them with all of the American cultures. Right now, this is incredibly hard to even talk about, let alone do. We've just moved so far thanks to the monsters that are running this country. But we're all here and we can't go anywhere else. This is our home. It probably shouldn't have been in terms of our ancestors in the past, but it is, and we shouldn't try to change that. We should just move forward. And again, Bad Bunny gave us that message. Just love, respect, and enjoy each other and everything we have to offer. It really doesn't have to be hard.